Hi, my name is Frank Furness and I'm an international speaker and consultant, and for the last 12 years I've been traveling all over the world, doing business all over the world, and the name of the talk that I do is Doing Business in a Global Economy. Now my talk really comes to you from a real practical perspective. I've been there, I've worked with the businesses, I've seen the economies grow and decline over the last 12 years, and this is what I bring to you in the talk, Doing Business in a Global Economy. It's been amazing for me to see over the past couple of years how certain countries have really suffered with what's going on with depression and all kinds of things, places like the USA, England, all over Europe, and yet there are other countries that are doing pretty well and have survived it well, places like Australia. Also interesting, I do a lot of work in the Middle East, and a couple of years ago Dubai was the darling of the world. All of a sudden everything has fallen apart, and another small little emirate called Abu Dhabi has now become the darling. They were stable, they didn't spend the money they didn't have. So these are some of the things that I talk about. We take a look at where the world is now, some of the things that have affected the global economy, and the opportunities for all of us, whether we're a small business or a large multi-corporate. Some of the things we've got to take into consideration are, there's actually 5 factors. One is social. What are the social factors? What are the ages of the people that are there? What is the religion, the cultures, things like body language, the language, their lifestyle patterns? The second thing is the economic factors, and this is really big at the moment, because what are the trends in business there? What is the demand for services or products, and how can we fill those demands? What about wages or inflation? The third thing is political factors. How stable is that country over there? What kind of things have the EU derivatives or regulations got on it? What about the spending power of that country? A big one is the technological side. I mean, the internet is one of the biggest explosions that has happened over the past couple of years. Incredibly, some people, some organizations haven't really grasped as what has happened. If we look at things like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of a sudden social networking has become one of the easiest ways to connect with anyone, anywhere in the world. LinkedIn, which is really the Facebook for business people. So what does this really mean? There's huge volumes of information that can be shared, and are we really sharing that information? There are huge amounts of information that can be accessed. I can now connect with people in Russia, I can connect with them in Australia, America. I can talk to them any time of the day. I can show them my products or my services. I have a YouTube channel with 200 videos on. That brings in huge amounts of business because I'm connecting with people I don't even know, but that are looking for the products or services that I can offer. So how have we grabbed technology? Cost reductions. Look at cost reductions. What is happening now as well is outsourcing. So many companies are outsourcing their business. You can get a call center set up in Eastern Europe or India. That will do a great job for you and save stacks and stacks of money. You've got a competitive advantage because you can now see who's looking for your products and you can put yourself in front of them. You know, if we look at some of the trends that I'll be showing during my presentation, if we compare the old traditional ways of advertising to online advertising, there's some amazing and surprising statistics. So it's way easier to communicate with anybody, anywhere in the world. Also, the profile of the people buying are changing. Youngsters coming through right now. I mean, if you take it, babies and children now, they're connecting with each other online. They're growing up with the internet. Youngsters coming through know all about the internet. They want to be connected with by video, by audio. They want some kind of interaction. So how are we grasping all of the technological changes that are really happening? What does all of this really mean? Well, the global market has become one small place where we can all do a lot of business. Companies have got similar products, similar services at similar prices, but what is it that differentiates you? What makes you better? These are some of the things we're going to be speaking about. Are you selling value? Because nowadays that's the one thing that is going to be a differentiating factor. Do you sell value? How do you create that ultimate customer experience? Because if we are selling the same kinds of products at the same prices, the only differentiation is how well you know your customers. Can you write down 10 of your top clients and then 10 things you actually know about them? We've got to sell to customers the way that they buy. This is what's happening in the global economy. And we've got to move away from salespeople to business people. Our salespeople, our marketing people have got to think like business people. How do we make profit? They've got to know how to connect with business leaders and decision makers in a whole different way. We also have teams all over the world. How do they communicate with each other? How do they talk to each other? How do they share information? How do they share their best practices? We've also got to develop new leadership. There are so many young people coming through now that are incredibly bright. We need bright young leaders that are going to connect with them. So what are we doing about that there? How are we proactively seizing all of the opportunities? In the talk, I show you lots and lots of trends, a lot of what is happening, but ultimately it's then up to us to change. How do we grasp all of these things and change? And then how do we keep ourselves motivated all the time in this changing global economy? For more about this talk, please book me below.